You're listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show, where wealth is empowering, purpose is crucial, and high vibes are non-negotiable. And now, here's your host, certified business coach and practical woo strategist, Sara J Loureiro.
Welcome to another episode of the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. I think this is going to be a bit more of a quick episode. I wanted to record this for all of you who are kind of like, what in the world should I be doing with my business? What kind of business model, quote unquote, should I have? What is the best thing for me? I don't know where to start. I don't know how to scale. I don't know where to go from here. This one business model that I have feels really hard. What do I do? And one of the reasons why I wanted to record this episode is precisely because I've actually been speaking to a lot of my friends who are very high-level business owners themselves, and they still have these thoughts too. In fact, a lot of us have had these thoughts lately. Now that we see a lot of people who are coming out with these like massive, like low ticket programs and how everyone can do low ticket, there starts to become a lot of questions of like, ooh, well, what model do I truly want? And so I wanted to record this episode for you to help you understand what is required of each business model and essentially how to choose one that is going to best suit your lifestyle. And so one of the first things that I want to say is traditionally in online business, it's so funny how I say traditionally because it's like online business has been going on for probably about like 10 years. So we already have some traditions here, you guys. But this type of reasoning, I guess you can say, makes a lot of sense. And that is if you have a smaller audience, and I have seen this time and time again with my clients as well, if you have a smaller audience, it is going to be way easier, way easier for you to sell high ticket items. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. If you have a small audience, way easier to sell high ticket items. So most of us, when we're beginning, we don't really have that much of a bigger audience. I know that there are a lot of people out there who are like, oh yeah, you can like do low ticket and you don't even need that much of an audience. That takes a heck of a lot of systems and overcomplications to actually make the same amount of money that you would make with high ticket. And believe it or not, low ticket is more of a pain for your business than doing high ticket and just having high ticket clients. So I know that it sounds like low ticket is like, oh, we just like set it and forget it. And that's it. You set it and forget it. And then you have a whole bunch of people who like lose their passwords or like can't access things. And then in order for you to, make the same amount of money as someone who's going to pay you $3,000 to get $3,000 worth of like $30 items is a lot of people. And you have to go out and find those people. And so it's always the best bet in the beginning is starting out with one-to-one. Especially because when you start out with one, it's a lot easier to bring someone into a one-to-one system. But also, once you have a lot of clients in a one-to-one, you can figure out what their primary issues are that are very similar. And then from there, you can actually take that analysis and make a course. Way too often, people make courses thinking that it's something their ideal client actually wants. And then they've never validated it with their specific audience. So all of a sudden they have a course and then they have no validation for it. So then they try to go sell it. I did this in the very beginning of my business as well. You try to go sell it. No one buys it. You don't know why. It's usually because you didn't actually understand the specific marketing that your ideal client wanted from you versus something that you felt like they needed from you. Now, once you're kind of past that point in your business, which if you are past that point in your business, congratulations, that is going to be, to get to that point and past that point, I think is a really, really great feat. So you've proved to yourself that you can handle the grit, you can handle the wit, and you can stay in it for the long haul. So that's amazing. So once you get to that point, things are actually a little bit easier because then you're not like, how do I find clients? How do I sign clients? So once you're at that point, then you really want to ask yourself, what type of life do I want to have? Like what business model is going to give me the type of life that I truly want to live? And one thing that I've also realized about this is that there is no right and wrong here. I truly believe that all of the business models that are out there can fit into your life. It sometimes is about the way that you look at the specific business model as well. And so I'll give you an example. I, at one point in time, thought that I just needed to have a low ticket business or a course-based business so that I can kind of just like, be at the beach whenever I wanted to, be at the coffee shop whenever I wanted to. What I didn't realize is the reason why my high ticket business didn't fit into that is because I wasn't allowing it to. So I wasn't giving myself very strict boundaries in terms of what days I allowed calls, for example. And now that I've done that, now that I've remapped out my business model for high ticket, I do have that freedom. And in a way, I actually have more of that freedom than I would have just doing low ticket courses as well. So there's a lot of things to think about there, but I would definitely ask yourself, what type of life do I want? Do I want something that is easy? And for me, I prefer easy. And in all honesty, high ticket coaching right now is really simple for me, and I really, really enjoy it. That doesn't mean that sometime in the future I might not change, but currently it just feels the easiest for me. And I like my soft girl era. I like having more of an easy lifestyle. So that's what fits for me. I also don't like working too many hours on Zoom. So I make sure that I don't work too many hours on Zoom. So I designed my entire business model through those pieces. And then of course, I also do high ticket automation systems, which I call my high ticket automation engine. And through that, I can also do a lot more with my business that is essentially on autopilot than a lot of other high ticket businesses out there that are mainly manual. Now, there's something else that I also wanted to talk about here, because I think that when you are first starting out in your business, or when you're, scaling to multiple six figures or your first six figures, a lot of the times I find that a lot of my clients just kind of want to do all the things. So you want to have your podcast, you want to be on Instagram, you want to be on Facebook, you want to be on TikTok, you want to be on LinkedIn. And one of the best things that you can do for yourself in the beginning is just focus on one system, one ideal client, one funnel, one program, like one offering. If you can nail that, that's the bomb. If you have to go into low ticket items in the beginning of your business, chances are your messaging is probably a little bit off. And so I would go into your messaging first before I try a completely different business model. Now, as soon as you get beyond that, then there's this whole one system, one ideal client, one funnel. That's all you need to get to $1 million. But I would actually kind of disagree with that. And the reason why I disagree with that is because that is one opinion and one perspective from one person who clearly likes just having one funnel. So many of my clients are so diverse. You guys want a lot of different things, not just because you feel like they're nurture strategies, because you actually enjoy them. So they are creative works of art. And I feel the same way. And so when I was told and taught that I shouldn't be on more than one platform, that I don't have to have multiple forms of nurture, I love doing this podcast. I really, really enjoy doing this podcast. That's also why I do it bi-weekly. So I don't do it weekly. I don't want to stress myself out, but I've been doing this podcast since 2019. It's almost been 6 years now since I started this, which is so crazy. And I've just been doing these episodes, and you guys listen to them because you enjoy them, and I enjoy doing them. Now, does this podcast actually make me a lot of extra money in my business? It does not. I hate to break it to you guys, but I've been doing it for 6 years, and the podcast itself really does warm people up to me for sure, but I don't really make a lot of money off of the podcast. In fact, if I decided tomorrow to shut it down, I probably wouldn't miss out on a lot of the conversions that I have going on in my business. So why do I keep doing it? And why do other people do it? And why am I recommending that you do things even though they're not going to give you an ROI? I think for me personally, once you reach a certain level in your business where you're like, okay, yeah, I can sign on clients, I can do these things. You want to also do the things that you enjoy, because your business isn't just about money. It's about creativity and it's about impact. And this whole idea of you just need one model and fast track yourself in one model, that's just for people who literally are mainly prioritizing the money, and they're not prioritizing the fulfillment and enjoyment that you actually get from your business. And so with that being said, I've had clients in the past who are like, I couldn't possibly just do one program. I need to have multiple things going on at once. That's the thing that fuels me, gives me energy. And I'm like, perfect. We can do that. You can have 3 different programs going on at once, as long as you have one system that you're using to sell them, as long as we're not having 5 different funnels that we have to optimize at the same time. We need to simplify one part of it in order to keep the creativity of the other part that brings you joy. And so if you've ever been thinking like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm doing all the things and maybe you're not getting the result that you want, I would just ask yourself, why are you doing those things? Because you really only need to have one system. You only really need to have one funnel to make money and to get clients. However, are you doing all of those things just because of clients, or are you also doing them because of impact? Because if you're also doing it for impact and you genuinely enjoy having a lot of different things going on at once, then by all means, continue to do that. And I think that for me, I've listened to people in the past who have said, stop doing all the things, just simplify everything. And I simplify everything, and then I tend to go back. I tend to go back to wanting to have different nurture points, wanting to have different touch points, because I genuinely enjoy it, but also 2, I genuinely enjoy learning it and then teaching it to my clients, which is even more amazing, right? Because then I just have this breadth of knowledge, because my goal isn't just to develop a cookie cutter program and just get to, millions of dollars with it. It's also to enjoy the work that I'm doing and really continue to learn. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly learning new things about different platforms, and I'm integrating those things into my programs as well to give my program something that's very well-rounded. And I wouldn't be able to do that without having all of this creativity and doing all of these other things in my business that aren't just this anxiety of needing to hit a certain income goal. So that is my message to you in terms of, what type of business model is the best for you. In the beginning, I would highly recommend that you do something that's more high ticket. It's just a lot easier to sell. But then also, once you get the hang of what it is that you're doing, once you have one system, then you can ask yourself, what other nurture points do I want to do? What brings me joy? What type of impact do I want to create? And how can that blend together so that I'm making money and also making impact as well? And, at the end of the day, what's most important for you? Why did you start this business in the first place? And once you can answer that really, really honestly with yourself, and it could be for the money, and that's totally fine too. But once you really answer that with honesty for yourself, then you can get that answer, and from that answer, create the business model that truly aligns with what it is that you want out of your business. So I hope that helped you. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you liked it, please hit subscribe, leave a review, and of course, you can share it with a friend. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. If you enjoy our show and would like the show notes and free goodies about how to grow your online coaching business, head over to sarajloureiro.com for more information. We hope you'll tune in next time.